Welcome, racing fans, and welcome, Australia and New Zealand. You are on the clock. For the entire year, developers around the world have been showing up and racing at the AWS DeepRacer events in person. And tonight, in my time zone, or thanks to the magic of the international dateline, tomorrow morning in Australia and New Zealand, the 15 fastest racers from down under will make their final push to qualify for the AWS DeepRacer Championships 2022. AWS DeepRacer is the world's first and fastest autonomous racing league. Tens of thousands of developers from all around the globe have been competing for the few disappearing remaining slots as we approach our championship tournament. Auckland, Melbourne, Wellington, Sydney, Canberra. 15 winners, but only 3 of them will advance today. This is the DeepRacer Australia and New Zealand Regional Championships. Racing fans, I'm Blaine Sundred, and with me is the man who believes the Coriolis effect should not dictate the direction of traffic on a raceway, Ryan Marine.
You know me so well, Blaine. Thank you for the kind introduction. Yeah, can't wait to go here. Great representation from across Australia and New Zealand in our races here today. Looks like we're up to 15 developers that are ready to go, fighting for just 3 spots to make it into the finals at reInvent. And our first one is already on the track. It's Box, Box, Box. I suspect a racing fan just based on that name alone. They're off and running here, Blaine, with the first lap on the clock already at 16 and a half seconds.
Welcome, those of you who are just joining us for the first time. This is AWS DeepRacer. This is autonomous racing. What you are seeing here, box, 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 is in fact not steering the vehicle, although driving it very well with a time of 9.935.
Great job there from Box, Box, Box on that lap to get sub 10 seconds right off the bat. That's going to be something in the ballpark, pretty close to what you need in order to advance to reInvent. The top 3 spots from our 2 rounds of competition here today will have a chance, all expenses paid, a trip to Las Vegas for reInvent, and there have a chance to race for the DeepRacer Cup and the title of league champion. But Blaine, you're right. People who are thinking about maybe being involved, what it is like to be involved in this league, to have that support of your peers, even though you want so desperately to be able to beat one another when the event comes up.
Oh, for sure. And the Slack community is really, really good. You can get on there and just kind of chat about anything, and people will just chime in and help and talk to you about like hyperparameters or kind of like help you out with things. And maybe somebody comes along and says, oh, my car weaves a lot. Like, how do I correct this? And there's a lot of the things, because we've all been down that path, and we're happy to kind of help other people in the community, because we want to see DeepRacer succeed and bring more people into it. It's quite a cool experience. So it's really been quite useful. And I mean, I've got huge amounts of help from the other guys as well. And you might have an issue with your training and maybe something weird's kind of gone off. But no, everyone's really good. I don't think everybody gives away all their secret sauce. They hold some things back. But overall, it's just a really good community, right? And like for me, I don't know how well I'll do at reInvent. The main prize for me is just kind of getting to reInvent. So I'm just kind of happy to be there. Maybe I'll do good on the day, but you never know. With the physical racing can be really tricky at times.
Yeah, what is your level of experience racing in person?
So I qualified. So my first one would have been back in 2019 at the London Summit, like one of the really, really early ones.
Wow.
And, I got 4th there. I just got pipped in the last kind of race, which was really good. But because of kind of COVID and back in New Zealand, I haven't been able to get to too many summits, which has been a bit of a difficult kind of thing. But I've kind of got some training lined up. I think trying to get on the track can be a bit tricky down here. My work didn't want to fly me over to Sydney for the Sydney Summit, unfortunately. But yeah, so I should be okay, hopefully, but we'll have to wait and see.
All right. Well, Tony, appreciate you taking the time to join us and share your insights with us. And like we were saying to Carl earlier, can't wait to see you in person. I suppose I must have seen you in London in 2019. It's been a little while. Let's make it not so long in between next time, all right? And we'll see you here soon.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
All right, that is Tony J, who qualified back in June. I think I misspoke earlier, but placed second in that June final. And we know he is going to Las Vegas. And we just saw a run, Blaine, that also could have Las Vegas implications.
That's right. As long as you're talking about Las Vegas, let's point out 8.201. This is absolutely amazing when it comes to the kind of times. While, again, no guarantees are there, by the time you're sub 8.3, this 8.2, though, that's a ticket punching time.
I would expect as well. Whether it'll be first, I'm not as sure, but I think you're right. I don't think we've seen an 8.2 eliminated at any point in any of our regional finals up to this point here. And still, time in this run to go a little bit quicker with just under a minute left in round one. Of course, still another round to go. This model is really consistent too, Blaine. It's not just fast, but only 4 resets to this point. That's really, really strong.
Absolutely. And hey, let's give a big welcome to a whole bunch of people that just joined the broadcast. Folks, this is AWS DeepRacer. What you are seeing here at a new time, even still while we're talking, 8.005, you are seeing what looks like a simple racing simulator, cars going around the track. That's not really what you're seeing, because what you're seeing is self-driving cars. This is a machine learning model. It's an artificial intelligence that, in this case, our developer, Adam, who comes to us actually from the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, is here on the track right now with a machine learning model that they have spent the last few months working on coding and refining, and the model is now driving itself to great success, actually promoting them now into first place. But as we're going to talk more about today, this idea of self-driving vehicles is what DeepRacer is all about.
It is, and great stuff there from Adam to go to the top of the leaderboard with a 0.7 of a second buffer. That might not sound like much, but in the DeepRacer context, that is a massive chasm between first and second. So Adam safely P1 at the moment. And earlier, when we were talking to Carl in NAB, I mentioned that we had an intern at NAB that was going to be coming up in the competition, and that was Adam. So really interesting. We did hear Carl say that he's talked to some of the people within the National Australia Bank and kind of helped them along. I wonder if Adam is one of those pupils, because he is now within 1/10 of a second of what Carl, one of the top developers we have globally, said that he's been able to get on this track. He said he had a 7.9 just in some offline training on his own. So really, really interesting, and a great performance there from Adam.
And actually looks like, if I'm assuming this is Adam, who just joined us here in chat, joined NAB after the AWS event, so unfortunately did not get a chance to meet Carl. So I do hope that, in fact, we are talking to Adam right now. Always hard to match up usernames there, but wonderful to have you here. On track right now, Code Machine, with a time of 9.998. That would have been, in my opinion, an impressive time, and while it's still a good time, right now that's barely 6th out of a field that we still have a good 5 or 6 more developers yet to race in.
That's a great point. Yeah, look how tight this field is. Just remarkable at this stage, with the exception really being Adam up at the very front, and that big gap of 0.7 of a second. That is the outlier for sure at this point. Here's something I think is interesting. Might we have a little banking rivalry brewing? So we've had National Australia Bank represented by Adam. Code Machine here is from the Commonwealth Bank of Australia.
I mean, I'm not going to say that it's a rivalry, but I'm totally going to say it's a rivalry now. No, I'm totally going to buy into this. Yes, I expect vicious battles now between these banks as we see which bank's machine learning team is going to be able to pull it off. Because, again, this is why we are here today, is to see what we can do with machine learning. Let me give a little bit more detail for those of you that has just joined us here. As we mentioned, this is autonomous racing. These are self-driving cars. More importantly, these are cars that have taught themselves how to drive. Out the round of 50 competitors, we will know all of their names by November 14th. But now that's the end of Yves Adam now gets their victory lap.
Oh, yeah, well deserved as well. I mean, we said it when that time popped up, that 8.0 was going to be really hard to beat. Having only seen 2 sub 8-second laps, I take that back. We've only seen 2 developers go under 8 seconds. We've seen each of them do multiple laps under 8 seconds. But there aren't very many that can say they've created a model that's capable of that. And I think Adams is. We just have to see if it can happen here in this next 3 minutes.
That's right. Where you're talking about, 8.005. Yeah, that's just a blink of the simulator getting you the rest of the distance. And we open with a spin out, showing me that Adam really is not going to sit back and drive slowly around holding a checkered flag. Adam wants to prove that they can actually hit this time.
Yeah, this is Adam going for broke here, and why not? Nothing but bragging rights up for grabs at this point. Of course, there is that world record to be had, and how about an 8.5? That time alone would have been good enough to win here today, and it's not even Adam's best lap. How about that? 8.3 1 lap later. Phenomenal.
If you really want to prove that you deserve to have the number 1 position out of the gate, yeah, I love not taking this on each lap, going a little bit faster. I'm just going to let us watch this thing roll because this is turning beautiful.
Personal best first sector, gave up a little time in the second and in the third as well, so not able to improve, but another personal best first. How about through the S's this time? Looks pretty good. 8.2, shaved off another couple tenths.
Each time getting a little bit better. We're starting to approach that window where it is just striking distance on that sub 8 second. We're not sealing a lot of fishtailing. The car seems to be in control. It's picking good lines. Just a little bit off track there, but that was a good line it was choosing, just swung a little bit too wide.
And the best ones are going to flirt with the track limits there anyway. That time just going slightly over that white line with all 4 tires. That was more than slightly that time. But again, it's trying to take that best approach to that corner that will then set it up for the final pair of left-handers. And sometimes you're going to go over. And in this format, that's okay because it doesn't disqualify you. It just ends that lap effectively. So, you want a model that's okay, occasionally overstepping the bounds because most of the time it's going to get it right.
I thought that one had something. No improvement. 8.2, still some amazing times. A little bit of struggle. He might have dialed it back a bit. We're not seeing it go as fast as we've seen before.
The thing that's amazing to me, though, is even at this pace, I mean, it's been doing 8.5 or better second laps, it seems like, lap after lap. Oh, almost able to carry on there. Only 4 resets despite this speed. That, to me, is what makes this model all the more spectacular.
Yeah, going at this velocity, I would expect a lot more collisions, a lot more failure to find the line, but it is able to find it even around that tricky chicane right there. Good cornering there, nice around, not an improvement over 8.2. We might not get an improvement over there with the time left, but certainly this is a model to be celebrated and one that might be able to be graduated well to the real world, and that's coming up fast.
Well, and the consistency of this is something that would be really encouraging looking ahead to reInvent. You're not going to get many chances, so you want a model that's going to perform time in and time out, give you your best chance of putting a time on the board that can help you survive and advance. That's what it's all going to be about.
This is our last time around the track, trying to see if we get a good cornering here. Time's looking good, coming around, not an improvement, but just barely. 8.200, not an improvement over 8.005. But Adam, representing Australia, coming in here, a wonderful first place finish in this regional championship.
Just a phenomenal performance. In a class of his own, right? I mean, nobody within 0.7 of a second. Adam had the field covered here today. A deserving champion. But now the real challenge begins. Top 3 move on to Vegas, and they better start preparing because if you thought this was a tight competition, just wait until we see what's in store for us at reInvent.
EP, Yves, Adam. These are your 3 winners out of the regional qualifiers. And with that, we'll go ahead and close down the regional championships. That ends it as far as that entryway into the finals. We have one final shot, and that is for our pro division on the virtual round, November 14th. Any final thoughts, Ryan? I mean, we are just about done with this season.
Well, if you liked what you saw today, I hope you join us November 14th for the monthly final of the Pro Division, because the pressure is going to be on. Those are people that have been at this all year. They've been trying to move through as one of the top 3 monthly in the Pro Division all season long, and they know that if they are going to make it, it has to be in this last race. That's the last chance to make it through. Plus, you throw in obstacle avoidance. I have a feeling we're going to see the Box of Doom for the final one of these for the year. I think Trackmeister Jen's been nice the last 2 months. I don't expect that's going to carry over for another month. I think it's going to be high drama, Blaine. I'm so excited for it.
Trackmeister Jen has flat out said, be prepared for brutality. That's what we're looking forward to. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody else who has been part of this broadcast, all of our support team staff, this has been an amazing couple weeks as we've gone through our regional qualifiers. Thank you all. We will see you November 14th, and we'll see you in Vegas. For everybody at AWS DeepRacer, thanks for watching.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan Marine, and I'm excited to bring you the next evolution in racing, the world's first global autonomous racing league, AWS DeepRacer. Since launch, over 140,000 developers from more than 150 countries have participated. And this year, the DeepRacer League is more accessible than ever before. With the all-new Student League presented by Intel, high school and college students worldwide can compete for scholarships, prizes, and glory. Students can get rolling with just a few clicks, no credit card required. All new AWS DeepRacer arcades will let you skip the coding, grab the wheel, and race head-to-head against AI. Compete from anywhere in the world in monthly virtual circuit races. And the Summit Circuit is back in person on physical tracks across the globe, with more chances to qualify for one of 50 coveted spots in the championships at reInvent. Discover how you can accelerate your machine learning journey at DeepRacerLeague.com.